one?
Yeah, here, this one bush.
Classy.
Temaman.
He's got nothing else.
Kim Khan Kur Saraga Sirash.
Kukumalar mama. You go this way.
Ask him, where's this?
Where do you go back? How about the same place?
I know.
Bob, where's your... Sergey Udendo?
Satar, S-A-T-A-R. This ain't coming off for shit. That was the idea. Get this bitch open. Yeah. Huh? I hate the fucking sound. More water? Huh? More water? This thing. The purpose of the operation yesterday was to try to push the threat out of town. We've had a number of RCIEDs in the village. They've been specifically targeting the AUP on routes they use. We pushed Marines into the village with the satellite effort and basically a giant V-sweep pretty much to try to flush them out of the village or find the triggermen before they could set anything off. The biggest risk being the RCIEDs. Obviously, they don't have to necessarily find the pressure plate or the power source to have that capability to get rid of the threat of the IED. And with these things, you know, they could just be walking along before they get to it, it detonates on them. The biggest threat was trying to find the trigger man basically before he can do anything about it. Quali now is a strategic village along the river valley. There's a lot of elders and influential people who live in Quali now. We're trying to start a new AUP precinct there and get ANSF forces back into Quali now permanently, really. The security piece with the village is important just because it's also a village that all the locals have to travel through to get to the district center here in Connaughton. So you've got a large portion of the river valley transiting through that village, along with a pretty decent sized population there. And historically, some Taliban leadership has always had family, property, vineyards, farms there, so they obviously don't want to exactly just let us have it either. The biggest follow-up procedure is going to be getting Marines and AUP in the village permanently. The AUP already lived there. The Marines stay down there with them quite a bit. But the biggest piece is going to be the permanent structure, the permanent development of Marines and AUP down in the village with the people. I think the biggest piece is to get DROA's face on all this. We do some of the planning, we coordinate with them, but at the same time, they're starting to learn a lot about operations, how to develop them, what we're targeting, specific tactics within those operations towards their threats, and also just how to deal day to day with people, rather than maybe some of their cultural traditions or whatnot we're pushing to. So really with the AUP on this one, the goal being to teach them how to do these different types of operations against the different types of threats. Hopefully we'll get them to be able to do it on their own. I would say the biggest piece being is once we started coming through the village, no bad guys wanted to pull anything off. It's kind of a good reminder to us, the Marines, at how good they can get at their jobs sometimes, but what we've noticed with the emplacers and the triggermen in this village is anytime the Marines come around, they refuse to take any hostile action. If it's AUP by themselves, they will, which shows the Marines obviously they're doing their job, but at the same time, we basically got to get rid of the guys before they're able to pull something off. So the biggest takeaway I would say is we went into the village and the bad guys ran. Not so much specifically about the operation, but I think the big piece is just getting the Marines down in the villages, working with the people, and going through the people for pretty much everything we do. Right now, because of things the enemy's done in the past, we have to allocate resources all over the place to secure routes and lines of communication and certain key points around here. I think we can use a few things to get those developed, get the Marines back down in the villages like we were 2 years ago. You see things come a long way with the people. And basically from once we get down in the villages, start working with the people, then we can start working on governance loos, ANSF loos. But everything just needs to flow through the people and through the villages.